Somewhere between the first whistle and the final whistle, a tear soaked an embrace. A story was written, one written in golden goals and broken records, in red cards that split nations and VAR decisions that broke hearts in slow motion. In heroes, they were crowned overnight, and the villains, the internet has refused to forgive. The 2026 FIFA World Cup happened, and now the dust has settled, but the arguments will never be over. This is the 50-50 Football Podcast, where we break down the fun, dissect all the controversies, unpack the revelations, and crown our team of the tournament. No fence sitting, no diplomacy, just pure football truth. I'm Kelvin Osuansa, always joined by Kweku Safo, Benta, Didi, and Mangana Nana Asari. We are ready. All you need to do is to hit us up on our socials. We are at the 50-50 Football Podcast everywhere. Let's get into the groove. Hello, guys. Yes. Hello, guys. Yes, it's been, an interesting 38 days. It was lots of excitement, lots of fun, but finally, the World Cup is over, but the talk will never die out for the next couple of weeks until the new season begins. Kwaku, Mangana, welcome.
Yeah, bro.
There's world peace.
Football one.
Football one.
We love this. We love this.
The bandits Buenos Aires have been sent packing home.
It was very, very necessary that football won on that day.
Yes, they just had to go home, and a lot of us were very much happy. This has been their style. This has been their style from 2018.
Listen.
Just that they were unlucky 2018, 2022, by whatever means they managed to win, and then 2026, thanks to football, proper football. Yes, making sure that they were put in their proper places. But first of all, what did you guys make of the final? Let's quickly talk about it. The fun, the controversy in the final, and everything that happened. Mangana.
Why don't we start from our view on the spectacle of the World Cup itself, and then grind it down to the final and how things unfolded and how
you want to hit the final. I know, right? All right, let's begin from that. It was quite an exciting World Cup. What did you make of the entire competition?
Yeah, for me, there were two sides to the competition actually. So I think the host cities that they chose between the US and Mexico were the best ones. The atmosphere was there. We saw very interesting stories that came out, like the Scottish fans drinking dry Boston, and fans having exciting fun festivals in Atlanta. Philly was banging. Miami was insane. It was merry all around the country, and the atmosphere in Mexico, in Monterrey, in the Azteca, it was insane. You saw the images, you saw the videos, and you were like, this is what football does. Football brings people together. And then there's also the other side to the whole story, where we saw some less palatable stories when it comes to how some of the teams were being treated coming into the US and going out, and how they were being strip searched and stuff like that. So in as much as the tournament was exciting, I think when it got down to playing the games were fun. Many people thought the group stages were going to be a walkover for most of the teams, but I think the group stages offered some of the most exciting games. We had games that people could not get over, and you could tell that people in the US who are not big fans of soccer really rallied around the game and enjoyed every bit of it. It was an interesting spectacle, and I loved the game so much. I loved the fanfare that came along with it. Everywhere was buzzing, and I don't think they could have hosted it any better.
Well, yes, it was very much exciting.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with Mangana. Honestly, I couldn't agree more with him. I mean, I was skeptical about a couple of locations. So, for instance, a whole city like Kansas, a whole city like Vancouver.
Yeah.
Although Vancouver has a Vancouver Whitecaps playing in the MLS and all of that, I was still skeptical about them hosting the World Cup. Kansas, for instance, I was very, very, very skeptical.
You know the irony about the Kansas game?
Tell me about it.
You know, Kansas was actually the city that had most of their people watching the World Cup. When they pulled up the numbers for Fox, Kansas was leading, and then Boston came in second.
I mean, I'm not even. I mean, for Kansas, I'm surprised. Yes, I am very, very surprised. Boston, not so much. Boston loves sports. You know, in general, they have a soccer team, they have a basketball team, they have an NFL team. They have the Red Sox as well in the baseball. So it's like a proper 360 sports city. However, for Kansas, aside the Chiefs. The people in that region, right? So the Ozarks region, Kansas, whatever, that Missouri area, going down to Kentucky, and Mangana has lived down there in Tennessee before. I mean, I've lived with him in Tennessee before, so we are quite familiar with the area. They are not so keen on soccer, right? They are not so keen on soccer. So I was very skeptical initially when I went through the whole cities and I saw Kansas. I'm like, Kansas. Well, I was expecting, Nashville, Tennessee to host it, right? But not Kansas. Kudos to the Americans, right? Americans really, really know how to put on a show. They really, really know how to put on a show. People were wondering, can America host the World Cup? Are they ready for the World Cup? People in America really don't love soccer. They don't care much about soccer. But people forget that it's a country of over 300 million people. 10% of that represents 33 million people, which is Ghana. Right?
And it's into the summer. What is that to do in summer?
People just want to do things.
Yeah.
People just want to do things. I remember I was with Kelvin, your colleague, Kawawa Yaofosu. We were at a pub down in Pennsylvania. And then we met this white bloke who just walked to us, and we were watching the World Cup at a pub. And then he just walked to us and said, well, he's going down to watch a Ghana-Croatia game. I'm like, are you Croatian? No. Do you have any family or relative from Croatia? No. What about Ghana? Have you been to Ghana? No. I've been to Croatia? No. He says he literally just bought a ticket to go watch the game because the World Cup has come to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and he wants to watch a game. So the Americans know how to put in a show beyond, and this is the most attended World Cup. Yeah. We must say. I mean,
almost every game was packed.
Exactly.
Especially in the US and in Mexico. The games were really packed.
Right. People might attribute it to the increased, participating teams, but regardless of that, with the visa restrictions,
there were a lot of
really went to the stadium to watch the game.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was in the Ghana England game, and where we were sat, almost all around us, it was just local Americans that were just watching the game.
Right.
Yeah. We had the England fans mixed in there, but there were a lot of locals that were watching the game more than there were like just Ghanaians or just England fans, and it was a nice spectacle to see.
Yes, certainly. And it's I mean, I loved every bit of this World Cup. 308 goals scored, including the final goal scored by Ferran Torres, an unlikely
goal winner.
However, there's only one country that didn't score a goal at the World Cup.
Which country was that?
Yes.
Panama.
Because they lost. They lost the first one to us. They lost 1-0. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
And interesting enough, they are the only the nation that lost to Ghana. Well, I'm not saying we should parallels as to Ghana's strength or not, but I'm just saying that Panama is the only country that didn't score a goal at the World Cup.
But still, they provided entertainment. That's the funny thing about the tournament. They still provided entertainment.
They did. And then, how about that? I think it's a good segue to go into the final, and then maybe you can come back to talk about revelations of the tournament. And I think we did our team of the tournament, but we should also do like a disappointing 11 teams that disappointed us and why. But I think going into the final. Yes. How about that opening ceremony and halftime show? I loved every bit of it. I don't know about you, but phenomenal. I actually loved it.
Honestly,
It was phenomenal, and I think that this is pure entertainment. Right from the start of the tournament, many were thinking, "Come on, what is FIFA trying to do? They want everything to suit the American system." But there was one thing that I realized from previous years: if you host the World Cup, you have the liberty to imbibe your culture and your traditions into it. And I think that the US took advantage of everything to make sure that whatever they do in the US reflected across the world. The quarter breaks we had in the tournament is reflective of American sport. They eventually had their four quarters, which is seen across. So 22 and a half minutes, 22 and a half minutes, they managed to get it throughout. Now, the halftime shows you see at the NBA, at the NFL, they managed to get it here as well. And also the national anthem, the United States national anthem, ever present. And I think that I love what they did culturally, traditionally. They made sure that the rest of the world were fed to what they wanted. And, the halftime show, and then, the closing ceremony and all, the performances, spot on. It was well timed, no delays, absolutely crisp, deliveries from Justin Bieber. And there was one thing that they took advantage of. This World Cup was dominated by faith, especially Christianity and worship of Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
So what they did with, Justin Bieber was just to make sure that whatever that the Christian fandom also felt, or Christianity also felt, reflected on the day. And they managed to use Justin Bieber to achieve that. And I'm sure everyone across was very much happy with someone who was on the other side of the world and then, made a change which had been preached. And then you had Shakira and then Burna Boy, performing that excellent, performance. Tom Cruise eventually coming in. So when you talk about, America, everyone knows that Hollywood is the biggest. And if you are talking about Hollywood,
They know how to
take
put on
away
a show.
Tom Cruise. So exactly, they made sure that everything that is important for them reflected at this World Cup. And I love exactly what they did. Maybe Qatar wanted to steal the show with the cloak. The cloak on Lionel Messi 4 years ago.
Right?
But the United States has actually given us something great. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Maybe to you and Mangana, right? Mangana, which of Shakira's songs or World Cup songs would you say is the best? There's a Zamina one.
That's the Waka Waka.
That's the Waka Waka, right? And there's Die Die, and then there's two more. She's done 4 World Cups, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think this one is the best one.
Better than Waka Waka.
I'm not going to say like better in terms of like the cultural impact. I think this one was more a tune you could dance to, like, the vibe in this one was more relatable in that sense. So like when I was even in the England game, at the England game, they play, they always play that because the World Cup song, they play it right before, like when they're doing the warm-ups and stuff like that. And when the song came on, you could see people just get up and dance into it. So it's just that, what do you call it? Yeah. Like, it's a tune that everyone can, just wiggle your shoulders to it, and then you're like, yeah, you can get into
and
it.
So I think the Waka Waka was so much African and South African.
Yeah.
But this particular one cuts across all.
I think it was a cultural moment.
Yes, exactly. So the cultural impact of Waka Waka was the biggest.
And you look at how they brought those lads from the kids from Africa to come and dance, and then you saw, yes, Burna Boy also doing his bit. It was so lovely, and the song is virtually in 2 parts that from across the continent, across the world, everyone, the song appeals to everyone, and it doesn't cut short. I think Waka Waka was a very good tune, but it's only short because it's very African and very South African, more than this one.
And I what do you call it? I think I saw someone tweet that Shakira is to the World Cup like Mariah Carey is to
Christmas.
And I was like, yeah, Shakira is making a living. She's making a killing out of FIFA.
Honestly.
And don't forget, Berima Kwame Akufo was there.
Yeah.
I show speed.
Berima Akufo was there.
Speed's what do you call it? Integration with FIFA. I like just because of how he started with soccer and just getting into it, and with all the Cristiano Ronaldo going up and down, visiting countries, like essentially showing his love for the for Cristiano Ronaldo and his love for the game has really carried him. Like this World Cup, he was prominent. He was allowed to stream whilst he was behind, what do you call it, in some of the nicer seats and some of the nicer standing areas, getting all those videos and footage. I think it really brought it to prominence for a lot of the younger kids as well, because these are their role models. These are their celebrities. So it was nice to see those ones as well. And like the way they always would cut into the crowd to show a celebrity, I guarantee you there are a lot of them that I couldn't even recognize. But that is the American way. And as Kelvin had alluded to earlier, like it is just the American culture. In every sport that they do, you always know that they will cut to the crowd to show someone famous or the other. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but yeah, it did work for the tournament. So kudos to them on that.
Listen, they see football beyond what happens on the pitch. They see it as a whole entertainment package, right?
Yeah.
And they understand that spotlighting celebrities, spotlighting famous people in the stadium, and also including certain aspects like the halftime show that we just spoke about, really, really improves engagement and improves audience retention, and so, which is very critical for some, like for a marketer or a brand lead. Like it's something that you really, really look at. But one other thing, guys. How about that performance from Madonna coming to the pitch with Ronaldinho and Ronaldo? I thought that was spectacular. Madonna's was 68 or whatever, and she didn't look a day.
Have you seen that movie? I've forgotten the title, but it was Morgan Freeman with all of the old folks who were doing a bank heist.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on the title, but go on.
That's what it looked like. I was like, come on. I was like, I mean, we love Ronaldinho, we love Luis Ronaldo, we love Madonna, but I know you want to reach all ages, but leave a little bit to be desired. But I found it hilarious, actually.
The whole disco tempo to the song and how they captured them, like, you know.
Yeah, I found the comic relief in that.
Come on,
I don't know what others found in it, but it was a
Listen,
bit
let's leave it to our audience. They should judge. Listen, tell us. I think we should put a poll when you post this on YouTube. We should put a poll. Who gave the best performance between Shakira, between Shakira and Burna Boy? We had BTL, which was amazing.
BTS?
Was it BTM?
Yeah,
BTS. My bad. Listen,
my age up on the pop culture.
My age is showing. BTS. I said BTL. My bad. So BTS.
Yeah, BTS was also very good.
By Shakira and Burna Boy, Madonna. I think Madonna stole the show. And then, of course, Hallelujah by Justin Bieber. Let us know what you think. But I think most importantly, we should go into, Kelvin, you were doing trends, right? Trends at the World Cup, you did at the end of the group stage. We saw the flurry of pink boots. We saw referees with the names at the back. Shouts to referee Daniel Lai in Ghana.
I hated the pink boots.
Rooney was, however, not happy with it,
Wayne and Roy Keane, I think
wasn't happy with it.
I actually hated the pink boots.
The pink boots, you hated it, man, Ghana, why?
Yeah, like, I'm not really a fan of like homogeneity when it comes to football. Like, I feel like even if it's the same brand that is sponsoring them, like vary the colors. That we want to see like some difference. Like there were some games, literally all of them were in pink boots, and you're like, come on, like give us a bit more color. Like it doesn't really hurt to give us a yellow one. Like all pink it was just it was black to me.
Everyone was in pink boots.
So I left Ferran Torres' boots, the one Under Armour did for him. It was like I think it was green and yellow on one side, and the other one had a bit of red. Like it felt fun, and I felt that the Nike could have done better with like the colors. We are not saying they can't wear the same boots, but give us a variation in the colors. Come on.
Yeah, and then
maybe they just wanted to be identifiable with that.
Yeah, but the pink boots are worn. Like there was a period when the pink boots came into style. I think they've done what they can.
Do you have an issue with the color pink?
Not an issue with the color pink. I just felt they could have varied it a bit. Like give us a bit of difference.
Real men wear pink.
I mean, I rock pink better than most, but
Hey,
but yeah, like I feel they could have done like give us like give us the classic black boots that look like shoes. Give us some white ones. Give us a bit of difference. Like we're not saying change the whole. Like everyone should wear a unique boots, but a unique color. These are
You're right.
professional footballers. These are people you are trying to market your goods with. And I think that if they had showcased more colors, it is something that would get the youth more into. Oh, I love the white one on this on this player. I would like to get a white one. Like it would just like how the NBA does with the colorways. Like when they release a player releases his sneakers, they have like different colorways to it. Sometimes they have colors like if the player is like say Panamanian, they can have like the Panamanian colors of that shoe. Like I think they should have done something akin to that.
Well, probably. Calvin, and what about the referees with the names at the back? Rooney disagrees, but what do you think? And I have two questions. I really want to know your thoughts. Referees with the names at the back of their shirts.
I don't know what exactly they wanted to communicate, right? I think that before the start of the game, the referees.
I think it worked though,
and they are not their attention. We don't need the referees name because it's not difficult to pick the. Yes, we are not picking the referee's name out. For
it wasn't
anything.
Like huge
I don't see.
It wasn't huge fonts. It was like
it wasn't huge. It wasn't huge, but to what end? To what
maybe
end?
to let the fans know who the coaches are. Like
But
he said it wasn't huge font. So if it wasn't huge font, it means that the fans were going to struggle to see from a distance. If you are
watching it on TV, you get the fans in the stadium
before the start of the game. The referee's name is displayed. It is indicated. But the players' names are not indicated on the screen.
How many people in the stadium do you think look at the board looking for the referee's name?
Well,
I think for this, I agree with Kelvin. Referees should not be made celebrities. They should not be made principal actors of the game.
You should focus on doing the right thing during matches.
Just do your job.
These are the things they are doing, and the referees are ignoring their core duties.
Yes,
the referees have been making bad calls since Adam. It wasn't their name on the match that made them make bad calls. So I don't
they are being over pampered. You see, they are being over pampered. They are being over protected. And it's the reason why they decide to take whichever decisions that they make. At the end of the day, the referee's body will come and defend them.
We can talk about sanctions being there for referees that make like very glaring errors and all of that. But I don't think the name on the back of the jersey changes much, actually.
We should stop making them celebrities. I agree with Rooney. Let's stop making them celebrities.
Kelvin and Mangana. What about two things happened at the World Cup, which, had never happened before? Two, I would say, defining moments, and not in a positive way. And they set very, very bad precedents for football. First is this whole mistaken identity thing where a yellow card was shown. So it was the Switzerland versus Argentina game. A yellow card was shown to Bril Mbolo. VAR intervened, and long story short, he received a red card at the end of the day. And the other one, has to do with Florent Balogun, where
Florent Balogun's red card.
Florent Balogun, it was overturned.
Like setting up an ad hoc independent,
very, very bad precedent. Exactly. Gerald Kwanzaa received a red card against Mexico, and he was banned for 2 games.
Yeah.
So
he accepted it. So I think that was quite a bad decision. We could have ignored all the controversy. And I think it even disturbed, the preparations of the US. Maybe someone can say that Pochettino was being petty, but actually that off-field controversy, virtually I think they could have done without him. They could have actually ignited themselves. You see how Belgium got angry. Rudy Garcia and the rest of the team were like, come on, you people, you think that Florent Balogun is your most potent player up front, so you are bringing him so you beat us.
I think he had his worst game of the tournament in that game.
Yes, they lashed them and outclassed them in that 4-1 victory in the round of 16. Balogun virtually made very little impact. So I go back to say it. Why don't you allow him to serve the cause? And I've seen teams who have gone to finals without their best players, and they've managed to do what? Get results. We saw how Chelsea missed out on that is John Terry in the finals of the Champions League. Yep. In France 98, Zidane missed 2 knockouts. Go ahead.
And Man United missing out on what's his name? Paul Scholes.
Yes, France.
Was
I
it
mean,
France virtually
Champions
missed
League?
out.
Yeah.
we missed out, and then we also missed out Fletcher in 2009. So
Yep.
Paul Scholes missed
Exactly.
in the 99 Champions League
99?
final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Fletcher missed in the 2009 Champions League final.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen top players miss games. You know, France in '98, Zidane missed a couple of games before he came on to make
Yeah,
an
when he
impact in the
headbutted
final.
the
We've
Saudi
seen
Arabian.
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly. You know, we've seen
Marco
teams play
Materazzi.
without some of their best players, but when it gets to crucial points when they are available, then you can count on them. So, I was very much happy that was shut down and the US couldn't progress from the round of 16. That controversy was virtually needless, and that is one thing that FIFA I think is being exposed. I think they are being manipulated at times, and it's not really the best. This time around, they were just virtually being put like a puppet
I
with
don't
that
I
decision.
don't think they are being manipulated. I think they are doing the manipulating.
Well,
Because for them, the tournament's success is determined by how much money they end up making. And if
$9 billion
exactly,
a record,
and if that
net profit.
and if overturning a red card is what is going to get people to watch more of the game, then hey, why not? For them, at the end of the day, is to make as much money as they possibly can, and there's no better place to make that kind of revenue if it's not the US. Now, for me, I don't really care for how you decide what rule changes that you bring in, but it has to be fair across board. You can't set up a rule just to favor one team and then you take off the rule and then no one can benefit from it again. If you are going to bring in new rules, then make sure that those rules stay. If you are going to make decisions that you are going to quote certain parts of the rule to make certain decisions, then make sure that those same other teams or other those situations that arise that can also benefit from that rule.
Hi guys, there is joy. There is joy.
Yeah.
My account has been restored.
That's
All
great.
right, go on.
You can't tell me that you've overturned what do you call it a mistaken identity what do you call it challenge, and then you've given out a record, and then in some other games when similar situations rear their neck, you decide that you're not even going to review it at all. Then what is the point?
Because you don't wear blue and white stripes.
Yes, and that's why I was saying that they don't do. They are not being manipulated. They are doing the manipulation, because you only invoke the rules when it favors the outcome that you are looking for, and then you completely ignore it when it's not going to give you the outcome that you are looking for. So for me, it's the consistency that matters. It doesn't matter what rule changes you bring in. If you are going to tell all the players that if you cover your mouth, I'm going to give you a red card, you do it in the first game and then you forget about it.
That particular, I agree with you with the consistency bit and everything, but that particular rule of, once you cover your mouth, it's a red card. It's the silliest rule I've ever heard. And Lionel Messi tried to get Cucurella sent off for that.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet where he was like, sir, she's speaking vernacular?
No, what was Lionel Messi thinking? That was so classless from him.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he was looking at it as like we are being outplayed. We can't get on the ball. We literally can't get any opportunity. Maybe if we can get him sent off, it will create some room for us to be able to operate. Yeah, so he was just trying to get advantage.
That was like the exact moment. What's his name? Enzo Fernandez was shown the red card, and so Cucurella, went to Lionel Messi to have a
Yeah, it
was a brush. I think he wanted to cover, but he realized no. So it just a brush off his lips, and he took his hands off.
And then Lionel Messi.
That was like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, he's so petty. Messi was so petty. I think that it didn't reflect. For
that,
how do we
I
call
don't
it?
blame him.
I
don't blame him. He was trying to gain an advantage for his team. We've seen players who go and put in a heavy tackle, and when they get a red card and they are leaving, they are trying to take someone along with them. So they try to agitate everyone on the pitch.
So that was what Argentina was actually doing.
It's gamesmanship. So I get it. I mean, in that point, if you could have got a red card, maybe they would have got some reprieve and been able to take the game.
No, that was classless from him. That was classless.
And I think that if you want to win, if you want to win a game, you win graciously. But I think that wasn't gracious at all. But we are going to get into the final pretty shortly. But I think that there is one thing that we need to focus on: the top scorers, or do I say the race for the Golden Boot? It was phenomenal. Never in the history of the World Cup have we seen such intense, chase for the Golden Boot trophy, and all the big players you're expecting to get on the score sheet managed to show up. Mangana, wasn't that so surprising?
That was my favorite part of the tournament. That in every World Cup, we all know who the biggest stars are going into the World Cup, and there's always a couple that disappoints in terms their team maybe do not go far enough, so we are not able to see enough of them, or they are not able to deliver on the biggest stage, because a lot of times you have players who are like top-notch players, and everyone else on their team are so subpar that there's not really a lot that they can do. But this tournament gave all the big players a platform, and most of them rose to it. Haaland rose to it. Kane scored goals. Bellingham was exceptional. Mbappe is Mr. World Cup. Literally. That's what Mbappe is. Messi, with all the controversy aside, he still banged in goals. He still created opportunities. He still was on the world stage. And I think for the Spanish team, it wasn't one player, it was the whole team. It was literally for the Spanish team, the player was the team. That was what it was like. So it was just nice being able to see all of the big stars showcasing how good they were. And that is what I think got a lot of the Americans into the tournament, because they're like, oh my God, like I'm looking at this guy and they say he's the best player, and I can see that he's the best player. Like I can see that in this game, he's doing what he has to do. They're talking about this player like, oh, he plays for Real Madrid. And yes, okay, I can see why they say he's playing for the biggest club. So it was beautiful just to see that. We even still saw, players coming, more of the underdogs who always come in every tournament. Like, what was the Cape Verdean player who scored that Keller against Argentina?
Cabral Lopez. Cabral Lopez.
Exactly. We saw goals like that. And when he scored the goal, the first thing I thought was, if you did 100 times, you wouldn't be able to do it once. And then he had a free kick in the same spot, and he also got that on target. But
if you know him, that's a star. It's a straight back hit.
Yeah.
If you know him, that's a straight back hit.
Yeah. And
that's what I'm saying. To be fair to him, Mourinho signed him for Benfica last season. So it tells you that the greatest 4 times or something in him.
And when he got that free kick, right after him scoring that goal, his next opportunity was a free kick, and it took everything Dibu Martinez had to keep that ball out. So we saw players like that come out. We saw Quinones, we saw Vozinha, essentially coming out with a story of the World Cup. We saw a lot of keepers even getting the spotlight. I think this World Cup covered every position. You saw the defenders that were great. You saw the keepers that were great. You saw the midfielders that you were looking at them and you were like, yep, this is the quality that we are looking for. And you saw the attackers.
I like the part you are talking about, all the greats. We'll be coming back to those who have failed. But quick one. I think that there was also one thing that gave the attention. After Mangana mentioned Vozinha, together with Erling Haaland, they gained more followers. Haaland with close to 41 million followers because of his quirky pose. He's gone viral. A lot of people who did not follow Haaland before this World Cup, they're like, come on, who is this gentleman? His height, and especially that Viking row, I think together with Vozinha, they've made the most gains on Instagram. That was virtually reflective
there was even
of the World Cup we wanted to see.
There was even a look-alike thing where there are several people on the internet that they're being told they look like what they call it, Erling Haaland. And there was one girl who's trying to be a hair influencer, and she says she's been doing it for so long, and apparently her being likened to Haaland has got her more followers and more attention than all her hair videos she's been doing for years. And she even got, I think Kalshi ended up sending her to a Norway game and had her meet Haaland as well.
I think that's the beauty of the World Cup. The World Cup is the only event, the single event, right, in the world that can pull in an audience of over 6 billion people. Now think about it. The world's population is a little over 8 billion. The last time, statisticians did the math. And now, if your one single event is able to pull in over 6 billion viewers across the 38, day span of the tournament, I think it's a very critical opportunity for people to tap in to really, really put what they do or who they are out there. And Vozinha, I think he's the biggest winner. I think Haaland, Haaland's followership would have grown anyway, perhaps not to this dimension or with not this, or perhaps not at this rate. I think rate is the right word I'm looking for. Vozinha, however, to me stood no chance of this sort of popularity and
the story of the tournament
dimension that he's risen to right now, to the point where they call the Legends game.
Yeah, and he played.
And he was pulled in
already he's become a legend of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, he is 40, so he is of the age range for the
40,
Legends game.
And football age 40, so real age, you add like 8 years to it.
My friend.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fair.
So I think it's it's the world. That's the beauty of the World Cup. Anyone sitting anywhere in the world can tap into the World Cup and really grow their followership, their base, their audience, and like Mangana said, this whole Haaland challenge, and it actually put Norway on the map.
Yeah,
honestly, people didn't know about the Viking rule.
I think you have people who will even be traveling there for tourism just because.
I bet you that at the end of the year we might see tourism statistics or like visitor statistics, increase.
Yeah, and I think I even saw a post someone made, and they were like, they learned more about countries in this World Cup than they've learned in geography since they started school.
Right. So that's the thing. You learn more about countries. You learn more about cultures. It's always a beautiful thing.
You learn history, and I think
you learn history
not
too.
many knew about the Falklands or the Malvinas.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about it.
England,
I had no idea. Mangana, you want to share more?
So there is a what do you call it? Kind of like a piece of land. It's like an island, right? That is closer in terms of territory to Argentina, but it was conquered by the British. So it is part of the British islands that are under the British control. And Argentinians with that banner is essentially trying to reclaim that as theirs. And the British were very, very up in arms and upset about it because it's not like they just put a flag on it and they took it. Like, war went on, people died, blood was shed to acquire that territory. Yeah, so they felt it was very disrespectful to essentially ignore all that has gone on to get to have that territory under the British rule and just start to state a claim to it.
Well, for me, I'm happy because that singular act has led to the entire army of British media fighting all the battles as Ronaldo fans have been fighting.
I knew he was going to get to Ronaldo at some point.
My papa.
And you know what is funny about the British media? Anytime something like this happens, you always hear their buzzwords. It's such a disgrace.
So classless.
Absolutely classless.
And you see, it's like head mentality. There's no dissenting voice over there. They all told the same line. So you realize Daily Mail's writing the same thing. The Sun is writing the same thing. The Athletic is writing the same thing. The Times are writing the same thing. The Manchester Evening News are writing the same thing. Every single blog post, newspaper, media outlet, they are all writing the same thing, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge national issue, and it's a huge
national issue.
Point, so I get the uproar, and I understand it. I mean, and because it's done at the World Cup, a lot of people would see it and think, "Oh, okay, it is Argentina's," and that is like literally it's stuff like that when it comes to online stuff. You have someone with a huge following say something that may not necessarily be true, and all of a sudden it becomes facts because they put it out there on the internet. So that is what has really got them like a lot has really gone on in the background. You don't know the story. Why would you just come out and say something like that?
A lot has gone on in the background for us Ronaldo fans. A lot has gone on. So they should keep fighting for us. Right now, if you go on X,
political enemy number one is Argentina.
Bro, political enemy number one is Argentina, and of course Lionel Messi is the leader. Number two, the GOAT debate has now shifted from Lionel Messi and Ronaldo to Ronaldo and Pele. So they've now eliminated Messi from the GOAT debate. Oh my goodness. And so it's so funny to watch. But
Yeah.
beyond all these things, right? Let's get into a bit of tactics
Let's get into the
as always. I like
yeah.
to I like to get into into that
All right.
as well.
So, Kwaku,
Another trend we saw
how many
was
minutes should we give you? Or you're just
just
looking at
3
the
minutes.
general
We should give him the
tactics
rest
of
of the.
what we
We
saw.
should give him the rest of the pod.
So no, I just want to say two things.
All right,
The
so go
advent of
ahead.
4-4-2, the advent of 4-4-2, and the fact that the most important thing in football really is your defense. And when I say your defense, not just the back four and the goalkeeper or the back five and the goalkeeper, but the entire unit collectively.
How
The
they are
team on the
defending.
pitch, how you are defending and what you're doing to defend, the principles of play with regards to defending, I think it's important. One of the greatest coaches of all time, Carlo Ancelotti, although he had a disappointing World Cup, said something which is very profound. He said, the team that's going to win the World Cup is the team that concedes the least number of goals. He said that before the World Cup. And guess what happened? The team that won the World Cup conceded just a single goal.
Yeah.
The team that won the World Cup conceded just a single goal. I think it's very important that we don't overlook the importance of defense, both in a one-off game and also across, a league period. It's very critical. It's very important how you defend, how watertight you are, how you are so desperate to prevent goals is very important, for your success. It's important to note that you can score goals and still lose a game. But there's no way on earth you are going to lose a game if you don't concede.
To England and France.
We have someone joining Akomia.
Yeah.
Let me add him so that he joins us. Akomia is joining us.
Ali, I'm late.
Star footballer, left back.
Charlie.
Akomia, why were you playing football?
Yeah.
I hope you haven't done your ACL.
Oh no! I just had a head injury a little bit. So
Sports Messiah. Allah, left back.
Head injury, they are not doing senior.
Eric Tinkler's left back.
Those of us who are elderly.
It's not Eric Tinkler.
I beg you.
He's wearing Man United, so he's replacing Tyrell Malaysia.
Today, the kind of calls I've received, so I don't want to talk about anything again.
I could be those of us who are elderly people. If you make the mistake and say, "Oh, I'm just going to warm up soccer and I'll be back in a few minutes," you come back and then you are in a cast. So I hope you warm up.
My God.
So many calls. So I said, me, sooner, my mouth is zipped.
From Eric Tinkler, Is it about Eric Tinkler?
Yes.
No. Kelvin knows who it was about.
Did you talk about that another day?
We'll
But
talk
you
about
finish with your
another time,
submission and then Akomia out.
Yeah. You've just been discussing the World Cup, a very light-hearted conversation about
trends. Walk into tactics, I think he's come at a very good time. So he's going to follow with a submission after your tactical, submission.
Yes. I saw, I was talking about how defense is very important. Carlo Ancelotti mentioned that, before the tournament, he said the team that's going to win the World Cup is the team that concedes the least number of goals. That's what Don Carlo said. And he considered, and Spain won the World Cup, considered just one goal. And it goes to tell you how important defense is. I think oftentimes, I wouldn't say oftentimes, I think in recent times, people have been swayed by the thought that once a coach focuses on defense, that coach is playing anti-football or whatever. But it's important to know that you can always lose a game when you score a goal. But there's no way on earth that you're going to lose a game when you don't concede a goal. When you don't concede, you don't lose. But when you score, you can still lose a game. And so it's important to respect defense, respect, the collective unit on the pitch, or, defending as a unit to prevent goals. And that's what Spain did to win the World Cup. The other, tactical trend that I also noticed is the advent of 4-4-2. And I always say one thing. I don't place premium on people that say, modern football, this or that. Nothing is new under the sun. We just recycle things. Almost every team that played at the World Cup defended in a 4-4-2. Almost every team, even Spain defended in a 4-4-2. They would defend with Olmo and or Mikel Oyarzabal up top, and then they'll have Mikel Bayana and Lamine Yamal on the flanks, and in the middle will be Fabian and Rodri, depending on who plays with Rodri on the day, whether it's Fabian or whether it's Pedri, and then of course their back four. Argentina did same, and I'm using these two as examples because they were the teams that reached the World Cup final. England did same. Brazil did same. Almost every single team defended in a 4-4-2. Just a few teams defended in a 4-5-1, like Japan, right? But almost every single team defended in a 4-4-2. And of course, they built up their attacks in a back three where one of their fullbacks would bomb up and, create, be an extra person on the wing. And so, modern football and everything, fine, but things are just recycled. 4-4-2 is still very much present. 4-4-2 is still very much in vogue. The best teams and the smartest coaches are defending in a 4-4-2 and building up attacks in a back three. And most importantly, defense wins you titles.
I mean, and
Juan Carlos said, and lastly, just to repeat what Don Carlos said, the team that would win will be the team that concedes the least number of goals. And you can even compare to Pep Guardiola's teams. Whenever Pep Guardiola won, his team considered the least number of goals. Even with his Barcelona side, they considered the least number of goals. And that's why a coach like Hansi Flick with his Barcelona team will struggle to conquer Europe. Because he's always conceding. He's always conceding too many goals.
It's
and he's lucky. Yeah, he's too open. And I always say he's very fortunate he's winning he's won the La Liga twice because Madrid are just not serious. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So that's it on the tactical side of things.
Before Kumer comes in, I want to just make a submission and to buttress your point as well. I mean, for that final, I think we saw something more of like a dichotomy of football in the sense that you saw a team that played with control and precision in how they carried out their tournament, and then you saw another team that were a bit crazy in how they played their games. Like you couldn't really tell the patterns that were like in their games, but they just found a way to make the chaos work for them.
You couldn't tell the pattern. The pattern was the great. That's the pattern.
They found a way to make the chaos work for them, and it was just. And I always love the game of football, and mostly because it is a game that has no blueprint as to how to play to win. Everyone can play a different style. It depends on, and like what you said, there's nothing new under the sun. Yes, the tactics may not be new, the positions may not be new, the way they play may not be new, but how you play it is what brings the difference in the game. So like in Pep Guardiola's teams with possession football, we've seen Netherlands teams in the past play possession football. But how quickly they moved the ball was not the same way the Netherlands team were moving the ball. So it's how you implement those same tactics makes it look different. And I think that is what sometimes has swayed other people to think that it is something new, but it is just how they go about it. So you see in different teams and in different countries, even with Japan know that they are not the most physical team, but they know that their players are very quick. So when they are defending in that 4-4-1-1, they are always making sure that they have their quickest player up top so that when they get the opportunity to break, they can get the opportunity to take chances. And you saw them do that to Brazil. And Brazil realized that, oh, we're actually bigger than you in terms of physical size. So now let's put the ball in the box and see if you can jump. So it's stuff like that, knowing your strengths, knowing the weaknesses of your opponents and capitalizing on it. Like, that's what makes football fun. It's not like we are all going to play one way. It's like, show me what you have. I'll also show you what I have, and we'll see whose game is the best on that day.
All right, Akomia.
Right.
Yes, Kelvin, I think I really enjoyed the World Cup. I saw a lot of tweaks from various coaches and how they set up their team. But I think there must be two things that I really realized that I was really impressed about. What the Spanish team actually did, you can defend by keeping possession. I think that was actually brilliant from them. From every phase of their game, from defense to midfield to attack, how compact they were whenever they lost the ball. Trying to balance the equation between sitting in mid blocks, when to sit in low block, and at the same time try to play with a high line, where you see Unai Simon come out so many times to come for the ball. And I think keeping possession is something that I think during Pep Guardiola's tenure at Barcelona, it was something that we all appreciated. It left the scene a little bit, and it left the Spanish national team a little bit. Somebody might say under Luis Enrique, they kept possession. Yes, it is true. But you ask yourself, what was the essence of the possession that they kept? Was it about just trying to find loopholes in opponents' half, or trying to possess that they don't lose possession in crucial areas for high turnovers? Or more or less, try and be purposeful in possession. So these are the differences in how teams set up their teams to play in possession football. So you can look at Eric Ten Hag's possession during his tenure at Manchester United. It was just try to play the ball around, keep it. Nothing purposeful about that. There are a lot of questions about it. But this is a Spanish team that has been able to combine direct football and then possession, and they've become purposeful in attack. And at the same time, they've been able to shut the door whenever they try to defend. The small spaces they leave up. If you want to even try combinations against them, you find it difficult because there's always a third man in that particular space you are trying to find a pass. And the person just runs in as fast as he or she can. And whenever they get a ball, there's no time to rush. Just keep calm. Try and let's find a way around it. And I think it is more like Luis Enrique's style at Paris Saint-Germain, because he is also playing in the same way, but he concedes a lot. But the difference is, I think, in as much as the Spain national team is not conceding, for the Paris Saint-Germain team, they are conceding. But in attack, it is literally the same. Pure wingers.
Yep.
So you see Alex Baena, sometimes Nico Williams, you see Lamine Yamal, then an attacker. Just like Paris Saint-Germain, Ousmane Dembele, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, then you are seeing Desire Doué. But outside possession, that is where I think PSG struggles a little bit. And De La Fuente has done a massive job within the setup. And I must say, I'm really proud of him. But for Argentina, there's something that I really realized about them. You see, this is a team that understands their strength.
Yeah.
And it is, somebody might say, systems and tactics only comes with what we see on the field with 4-4-2, 4-3-2-1, all of these things. It is true. I agree. But I think preparing your mind for games and psychologically putting yourself on opponent is another thing we underrate when it comes to how teams set up. I think we had lost that bit of touch from Argentina in terms of various clubs at the Champions League level. That is what Real Madrid was doing to clubs. That is what they were doing.
I think then a similar example is what they call it. Was it Gary Neville who was saying that there were games where the moment the opponent came in the tunnel, they knew they had lost the game even before they came out of the tunnel.
So psychologically, this was a team that they just stamped their authority on the game, because I don't get how they do it, but it just works. The moment a team scores against them, no matter what happens, you withdraw. Psychologically, you feel like, no, this is a team that will come at us. Then the moment they get you on the thin line, then they overload their right-hand side of the pitch. And they allow more runners into the box. Late runners, box occupiers. Anybody that can be in the penalty box, just get in the crosses. And look at how they put in their crosses. Just in between the two centre-backs, almost every time. Or the far post. In between the two centre-backs, or the far post. Because they know that whenever your back is facing your opponent, it's difficult to turn and just clear it off.
And you know what is annoying to me about teams when they decide to sit back and defend, especially on the last line that is in their box? When a ball is put into the box, you, the defender who is standing, you don't have an advantage over someone who is running in to find a header. So why would you want to defend like that? Because when the person is running in and he jumps, he has an advantage over you. So why do you always want to sit on the last line and defend when the ball's coming in favors the attacker than it favors you? So that's the thing that annoyed me about England against Argentina, because like there was no need for it.
I think where they also had an issue is, you see, what Argentina did in the World Cup is something that has been done in the olden times. Go with a typical 4-4-2 in attack, like 4-2-4. Get your wingers on the touch line. Get in more crosses like the olden days, how we used to play. Now, you ask yourself how some of the teams back then used to be successful with that. There are two key things that makes it work. One, the person who is delivering the cross. Number two, the type of movement that happens in the box. So it is not about the strength of the centre back. it is not about outnumbering the center backs. It is not about being compact, but it's about the timing of how you face these crosses. So you look at what Thomas Tuchel said after the game. He said the crosses that were coming in were inch. He described it as inch perfect. They were inch perfect, meaning
Especially
when
when
Messi
Lionel
puts
Messi
in
is
the cross,
involved.
yes, it is difficult for you to stop it. And he has his target. He knows his runners. He knows the time. So the timing is very important. The moment Nico Gonzalez moves, just understand the cross is coming. So look at the goal against England, the second goal. He saw Lautaro Martinez in between the two center backs. Now he realized that right in front of him, there are two tall center backs. So if he decides to go with the in swing, the probability that these players will get to the ball faster than him is going to be there. So he decides to go with the outswing. With the outswing, it just comes in front of you like this. If you do a mistake and you try to clear it off, you can score an own goal and just apply power to it. And I think that is where these things are. And I'm really in love with how they went back to the old-fashioned wing play football, typical 4-2-4, wingers flooding in crosses day in, day out with specific movement and timing that was apt. And I think for a coach like Scaloni, he's underrated. In the World Cup, people feel like he has a team and this team are playing for him. But tactically, he is one coach that we underrate. And I think he did a massive job with even the squad manager. It's just that he can't be Spain. That is it.
Exactly.
There are certain teams when you meet, you can even go to heaven and earth. You can beat them. They are too good and too perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was even going to point out. I was like, in as much as we're all happy Spain beat Argentina and all that, Argentina maximized the squad they had. Like they squeezed water out of stone. Their run to the final means they maximized everything that they could. Unfortunately, what they had in terms of the capabilities of their players was not enough to beat Spain. But they really squeezed water out of. Like they played a tournament without wingers. They had central midfielders playing the wings. And they still.
And anytime they want to win, they bring in wingers.
And they still manage to grind out win after win.
Guys, I think on any other day, Argentina could have beaten Spain. I think on any other day, they could have beaten them. Listen, don't forget that these people had played 120 minutes twice. They had played like 120 minutes twice, and they played at 3 p.m. in the US on Summer's Day against Spain. They were tired. They were visibly tired.
But you know, there's a
where
on any other day, and I'm not an Argentina fan.
No matter what, the way Spain controlled the game, there was no way Argentina wouldn't have, even if they come today with fresh legs.
Argentina don't need to control the game to win games, so.
Very good. And Spain would control it to prevent you from having, those moments.
Listen, there's a reason
Emi Martinez made 11 saves in that final.
It doesn't matter.
They would have been battered. It would have, if it was Romero or Lax. If it was the previous goalkeepers for Argentina, Romero or Lax, they would have conceded 5 goals.
Listen. I'm telling you for a fact.
Yeah.
On any day, Argentina could have. I'm not saying could. The possibility exists.
Could have. Ghana could have beaten Colombia.
Like Argentinians.
Kweku,
I think the food is around 0.05% too.
There's a popular
the football I watched
on the day
and what's
on the day. What you watch on the day. But I'm telling you, on any day, right, with fresh legs, the Argentines. Listen, that game would have gone on penalties had it not been for that red card.
Kweku, there's a popular saying in the Premier League, especially among the journalists, where they say if you circle the drain long enough, you eventually go down. They'll use that for a lot of the teams that constantly are fighting relegation battle and survive season after season after season. Eventually, they'll go down. For as many games that they played in extra time and grounding out wins, it was not going to be sustainable. And that is where they met.
But you see, all I'm saying is that on any day,
of course, there's a
with
possibility
fresher legs,
yes, but
I
there's a
think
possibility
it's
for
a
anything
different
to happen.
conversation. So all I'm saying is that don't be conclusive with your statement that there's no way on earth the Argentines could beat the Spaniards. I'm telling you, they didn't lose by 4 goals to 0.
We
Took
get
a
that.
red card and an extra time goal.
look, we get that, but even
That's
before
all I'm saying.
no, but we get that,
That's
but
all
even
I'm
before
saying.
the red
He
card,
took a red card
yes.
and an extra time goal. They
But
didn't
even,
lose by
We
4
are
goals to
also
0.
we are
we
also
get that,
basing
but
on
even
the number
before,
of
but even
games
before
played
the red card, we could
and the
even before the red
dominance.
card, the game was going one way. It was almost like a matter of when will Spain score. As of
Like I said, everything you're saying is buttressing my point. The Argentines were tired. They had played back-to-back 120-minute games. They were knackered. They had 30 plus. Look at Amy Martinez.
Nobody forced them
Look
to
at
go and play the
Tagliafico.
120. Kwaku.
Listen, I'm not an
Me,
Argentina fan. I'm
nobody
just
forced.
saying.
Yes, I
I'm just
know,
saying.
but
Don't be
nobody
conclusive
forced
in your
them.
statement.
Just like Spain finished their games in regular time, they could have also finished their game in regular time instead of playing for extra time. It's the tournament. You cannot blame anybody for it.
And it's not like Spain were winning their matches 4-0, 5-0. Spain were also doing 1-0, 2-1s, 1-0, 2-1s. So it is what it is.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I think that we are getting closer to the end. But let's look at the aftermath. This time, lots of people till now still talking about it. They refused to give a guard of honor. They fought just after the game, that brawl from them, and they continued to look classless. When Spain lifted the trophy, they just decided to look, at their fans with their back to the celebrations. And I think that when you lose games, just be gracious in defeat. It's as simple as that. And they are making themselves, public enemy number one. Many will say, fine, the British are over criticizing them, or they are lambasting them to a greater degree, which shouldn't be it. But I think they've brought this on themselves. They came into the World Cup with the mentality that we need to bundle our way through every single minute, try and defend this particular World Cup. Remember, I came to say Scaloni was like, they are at the World Cup not to win it. They were there to do what? To defend it. And the tears from Lionel Messi clearly showed you that they really wanted to win it. But unfortunately for them, it couldn't come. But when you lose games, you need to be gracious in defeat to the point that experienced, people like Walter Samuel, Pablo Aima, Ayala were getting into, the fight. And Paredes and Enzo, they were pulling players down. They were just kicking and shoving their opponents. And I think that was virtually the downside of this Argentine team. If they had just gone quiet after the game just to celebrate, because when they won the game against England, we all saw the celebrations. When they won their previous games against other opponents, we saw the celebrations. And it's happened time and time again. They tease people. When they won the World Cup in 2022, what didn't they do to Mbappe and the likes? They went on to, have puppets of Mbappe and all that. So now you are being teased after a final and you are angry. It was so classless.
Kevin,
And I think that was quite
I understand
disappointing.
it
But
was
I don't know what
classless.
Akomia
For me,
thinks about all this. Yeah.
I don't subscribe to graciousness in defeat.
But the game of the sport,
yes,
the sport,
they
the
went,
sport.
yes, they went too far with the antics where Paredes fought and Ayala and all of that they went too far. And I feel FIFA should have sanctioned them, which they didn't, which is befuddling to me, actually. I thought there was a strong case for them to have fined several of the players, to have given Argentina a ban or whatsoever. But graciousness in defeat, I don't see the point. You want your team to be hungry for the next tournament, for the next trophy. If they are like, oh, I lost, it's fine, it's good, you won, let me clap for you. I don't get it. You need to have that hunger. So graciousness in defeat, I don't subscribe to it. But they did go overboard with how they were, essentially fighting the opposition. And a lot of the things that they did were very, very below par and not befitting of a team that are as decorated as the Argentines and players that are perceived as role models, as Lionel Messi and the rest. But Lionel Messi, you could tell he was in his own world, maybe the emotion of the moment, because he wasn't involved in all of that. He was just standing there looking blank. And you could tell maybe the emotion of the moment, him probably looking at his career and maybe this being his last major tournament or playing even with Argentina at the international stage. I think he was overwhelmed by the whole situation. So he wasn't even, his mind wasn't even on what was going on around him. And you could literally see Paredes trying to, what do you call it, not trying to, manhandled Gavi. Or was it Pedri that he manhandled and pushed to the floor? I think it was Gavi.
It was Gavi. Gavi he's always been bullied.
So yeah, graciousness in defeat, not my thing, but they should have comported themselves far better than they did.
I think, Kelvin, I'll look at this from two points of view. And the first one will have to do with fair play. I think fair play is very important in FIFA games and international tournaments. But it is not by force to exhibit fair play, despite the fact that per the ethics of the game, it should be an important part of you. And I feel they should have exhibited that attitude of fair play and brotherhood towards the Spanish national team at the end of the day. Maybe a guard of honor would have even done better, just to make sure that they feel okay. But on the other part, that is where sometimes I feel like the Argentines also wanted to prove a point, because during this whole competition, they have been the most criticized nation in the tournament. Mm-hmm. People even call them FIFA babies. Well, whenever they don't get a card, there are a lot of things that are written about them. So in their head, it is like it is us against the world.
Yep.
It is us against other people. So if you have literally destroyed our integrity, disrespected our performances match after match up to this level, and you think we should exhibit fair play, when in a nutshell, a whole lot of journalists, a whole lot of people, they not exhibit respect and fair play towards us. So they'll feel like, okay, where we are now, we are done with the competition. We came to play. We came to win it. We didn't win it. Everybody should go their way. So they can literally stand in that position and believe that, no, this is not a matter of being friendly with anybody, because a lot of people hate us. You've seen the words that Messi have actually said after the tournament. Some of the things they are saying. The Argentina Federation has even written a statement, brought it out, saying all sorts of things that they want to challenge a lot of journalists. So it means this is a team that was pained. That was really pained. Mm-hmm. Some people brought out conspiracy theories that in the dressing room when they were coming out, a lot of things. As at that moment, I think what really pained them as at that time is most of these players are leaving the team. This might be their last World Cup. Yep. They wanted to do something for them. Number two, I believe they were also pained by the fact that a lot of things has been said about them, and they've been able to fight to be in that final. By tooth and nail, they've been able to fight to that level. So one way, I'm not happy with how they behaved. On the other side, I wouldn't begrudge them that they did that, because a lot of things were said about them.
I think you guys are being fair. I will begrudge them. They were classless. It was a shameful act and display by them. They should have shown leadership. Listen, these are experienced professionals. They've won the World Cup before. They won the World Cup 4 years ago. And with all the favors FIFA had done them, and the referees had done them, the officiating being on their side, getting them to the final, I think they should have been, shown, they should have shown grace, and they should have shown respect to Spain. I mean, why did Paredes attack Gavi? Gavi didn't celebrate in front of him. Gavi was literally walking away.
And Romero was the one that did the celebration. Anytime they won, he would before the goal, he would be in the opposition. He was throwing his hand around. Yeah,
Bellingham, he was taunting the Egyptian, Salah, and the rest.
Yeah, he and all of that.
They were doing that. So listen. If they hadn't won anything before, I would have said, fine, they are paying. There was a good generation. They always came so close, and yet they couldn't win. But they had won the last 3 trophies. In fact, the last 4 trophies. They won the Copa, they won the Finalissima, they won the World Cup, and they won another Copa very recently in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium against Colombia. And they got another World Cup final. Granted, with all the favors from referees. They should have been a bit more respectful to their opponent who beat them fair and square. So it's classless. And listen, I won't blame Messi. I won't say that, Messi cannot be blamed. I will blame Messi. Messi is the captain. He should show leadership. So yes, he's there.
and I love what Kweku is saying. When you show leadership, it's either you stand up for your team or you stop. Them
exactly.
You remember
Messi was doing. Yes,
the 2022 World Cup when they fought the Netherlands. You remember that when they fought the Netherlands?
Oh my God! Paredes slamming the ball at the bench.
That was a crazy game.
What did Van Dijk do?
Yes.
Van Dijk quickly stepped up to do what?
Oh yeah,
to battle it out and eventually push his players back. Messi virtually stood there and looked very much unconcerned until Lionel Scaloni came. And that is why I am even pissed at Walter Samuel, Ayala, and then the rest of the Argentine technical team. They watch their players and even join to help them push players down. If this happens, it's classless. Now, the guard of honor, you were coming for your runners-up medal. Spain gave you a guard of honor. After that, isn't it ideal that you...
They completely ignored them. They completely ignored them.
And they went to turn their backs to the celebrations. At least as soon as they lift the cup, you can go and do whatever you want to do with your fans. The fans were going nowhere.
That football has a way of repaying you anytime. For now, let them enjoy it. Maybe they might feel like where they are, they were not treated well. They were not fine. People said a lot of things about them. But to me, there's not going to be any next World Cup with Lionel Messi. You will enjoy a lot of things. There's not going to be any World Cup again with the likes of maybe Otamendi and Co. Even for Martinez as the goalkeeper, difficult, Dibu. So subsequently, me have said one thing, that any team that wants to win its fourth World Cup, it takes them 24 years to win it. So in the next 24 years, we'll live with them.
The sons of their fathers will visit Nico Paz and the rest.
You know, it was quite sad. Ayala and the likes. Ayala hit Danny Olmo and I was like, come on, like, you people are supposed to be sane. Well, they should forget. Let them go and celebrate. I mean, they said Malvinas is DS. They should go and take it. Yes, they can take it. If it's DS, we'll get back to it. But I think it's time. Let's get into our failures for the tournament. We already know, and many are questioning why Vozinha is the goalkeeper, but it was fan based. I don't think we should really get into that because when fans
it was a good story, and you can't let a good performance come in.
The fans will always choose. The fans will always choose someone like that. When it comes to the technical,
it's not like he didn't perform. He performed.
Yeah, and the technical decision went to Unai Simon for being the best goalkeeper. So I think that is fine. Now, Kwaku, Akomia, and everyone, let's get into the failures of the tournament. Goalkeeper, please give it to Mike Maignan. He was terrible.
Oh, it
was terrible. It was terrible.
That guy has been terrible for the last 2 years.
He's
Mike Maignan has been horrible.
If France had, and I like it that Zidane is trying to bring Fabien Barthez.
No, but okay.
Into the goalkeeping unit.
Is that Michael?
I don't think Maignan is
failures of the tournament. We are starting with goalkeepers. My pick is Mike Maignan.
Let's define it, Calvin. Let's define it properly because
I
mean the absolute worst goalkeeper of the tournament, of course, is Algeria's goalkeeper. The other Zidane.
That is who I was coming to mention.
Ever.
Zinedine Zidane's son.
But wait, you guys wait. Did you guys expect anything from Lucas Zidane?
This is your
no. I'm asking. Did you guys expect anything? Did you guys expect anything from that goalkeeper? Algeria only gave him a favor, sincerely.
No,
it wasn't better than the other goalkeepers.
Look, what's the name? Calvin, we understand that. But when
I will say, that was professional. Fee paying. He only got fee paying opportunity to get into the post.
Calvin, we understand that favors were done to get him into the post. But as a professional goalkeeper representing a team at the World Cup, there are basic things that we expect that you should be able to do.
And he failed in
when
all
it's
of
not
them.
good. When it's not good, he
was so brutal.
So the three of you accept is Lucas Zidane.
It's not Lucas Zidane because we didn't have expectations. We had expectations for Mike Maignan. That's why I'm saying it's Mike Maignan.
We know the expectations we didn't have. Do you know how difficult it is to fall below expectation that we did not have?
All right, so where do we strike it? Okay, so they are going to share because it's split. All right, so myself and
let's go Lucas Zidane.
All right, Lucas Zidane, right back.
Have you seen his videos? His father looked at him and shook his head.
Right
back. Oh, really? Okay, well, Molina too, every time she's like the black sheep. The 2022 World Cup final, he came from the bench and then they scored 2 goals. And this one, he came and then they got the goal.
Every winger that came up against this Argentine team found joy playing against him.
Against Molina.
Against Molina.
So no, but Calvin thinks it's Malo Gusto.
I think Molina
Kelvin is
was
just
worse.
mentioning the boys
Every
because
single
he
goal, if
wanted France
Argentina
to win.
considered 2 goals in a game, one
It
came
was
from
to
where
his
Molina is actually defending from. Yeah, what's that too?
All right, left back.
Molina takes the cake.
Left back.
Left back.
Left back.
Left back. Left back. Left back. Left back. Left back. Thoughts.
That is difficult. That we don't have anyone who stood out as terrible.
Thoughts. Left back. Left back.
I'm trying to look through left back. Okay.
Left back.
Give me a moment.
Left back. Spain's left back was solid. England's left back. Was it Spence?
I think it was
O'Reilly.
Nico O'Reilly.
O'Reilly was
Spence
good.
and O'Reilly.
And
They were
just
good.
Spence
But
was
were you guys impressed with Luka Digne?
Look at it,
Oh,
just
he
for
did
that
well
mistake
until-
of waiting for the ball
Yeah.
of waiting for the ball to bounce in his 80-yard box.
I think he did well until that
As a professional who has played so many games, you don't do that. No bouncing in the box.
Mazraoui played as a left
You
back.
put
at
one
this
allow me.
tournament,
You
right?
put one allow me. I want to go for
Okay,
another
okay,
Argentine
go
player.
Who?
Tagliafico.
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 Tagliafico did well.
Oh, Tagliafico did well.
Tagliafico did well.
Tagliafico, yeah, do.
Akomia,
So
we will let you do this one, Tagliafico. Tagliafico, he was serviceable.
No, where I think there's a problem is he every single winger that played against this Argentine team had a field day. Hassan Zico. You can go and check the Portuguese game. We can go over and look up every single game Argentina played and how wingers were the best players.
who played Portugal's left back?
No, I don't think. Oh no, Nuno did well. I don't think. Hold on, I don't think Tagliafico started against Egypt. I think it was what's the other guy's name? He started and Tagliafico came on later. Tagliafico
Medina.
Yes, Medina started. Tagliafico didn't start against Egypt
because they were worse. Their fullbacks, they always had trouble defending against opponents.
They also didn't have wingers who were supposed to double up to help them.
So that really exposed their fullbacks too.
Yeah, if you leave your fullback to defend one-on-one against a winger who's running at him, what chance do you give the fullback?
So the left back, we are not getting anybody.
The fullbacks are the quickest.
The left back. Honestly,
Rodriguez wasn't bad.
Rodriguez wasn't bad for Switzerland. No.
Who was Brazil's left back?
Andres. He's also called Andres Santos.
What's up, Papa?
Oh, really?
Andres Santos.
No, it's not Andres Santos.
Oh, then he was a
left back. What's up, Papa?
He was Brazil's left back.
Yeah. Oh, he was decent too. He was decent. He wasn't the Brazilian left back. Decent? Santos.
Oh, Onyadi.
I think every Brazilian player outside of Vinicius and maybe Cunha, we can say they were all disappointing because we expected so much from them.
I mean,
the quarterfinal teams. Mazraoui was good.
Mazraoui performed.
Mazraoui was good until he moved into central defense.
Yes, and we are talking about left back.
He was good until he moved into central defense. Remember, they had an injury, and so he had to move into central defense when it went south.
Egypt had their left back. Well, that was where the crosses came from, eh? But he was decent until he was decent.
For how Egypt decided to lose that game, their left back should be nominated for that.
Senegal's left back. Was it?
Oh no.
Malik Diop.
Diop and Jacobs.
Jacobs.
What do you think about Jacobs for Man United?
My friend.
Hey, Master, we are not doing Manchester United. Let's settle on. So let's give the award and go. You can do your Manchester United later. Yeah.
We are giving
no way. Andres Santos wasn't that bad.
The vote is 3-1.
Listen, I think it's Luka Digne.
The vote is 3-1.
For me, it's Luka Digne.
So he's choosing Santos. Central defense, Konate.
Hey, Van Dijk.
Konate. How much
1 game, 4 goals.
For me, it's Van Dijk.
Konate.
For me, it's Van
What's-
Dijk.
Why you Papa? Or
For me,
because
it's Van Dijk.
or because he scored a goal. Like I said, because he scored a goal.
Oh, Derek
Oh, look
Lucasson.
at-
Eh.
Oh no.
No, he wasn't bad.
How is he the most
No,
disappointing?
but Lucas was better. Lucas
Oh,
was
he played-
better than Konate.
Oh, guys, Van Dijk was horrible.
How can you say that? How can you say Lucas was better than Konate?
Koulibaly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was
Koulibaly. Yep.
disappointing.
Yep.
Akwabe Shewa tournament.
No, I mean
Guys.
fucking.
Why are you guys overlooking Van Dijk?
No,
Van Dijk
Koulibaly was bad.
horrible. Van Dijk lost a header.
We are listening.
But I go for
what do
Kalidou
you call it?
Koulibaly. Hey, Koulibaly was bad, Kweku.
No, wait. Did you see the goals? Holland conceded.
I mean, it was
Okay,
already
we want
defended.
two
The
centre
Netherlands
backs.
game.
Okay, so we want two centre backs. So Van Dijk and Koulibaly. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Van Dijk, Koulibaly. The midfield
But
picks
Konate
it.
now, the Konate you people want to spare that third place playoff game, the first half.
One
One-
match. Relax.
And the midfield, we need to move on. It picks itself. Just pick them from Portugal and move on. That's all.
The
The
Portugal
midfield,
three.
Bruno Fernandes.
The Portugal
Bruno
three.
Fernandes, Vitinha,
The
Joao
Portugal
Neves.
three. That is it. The
Let's
Portugal
just
three.
move on. Who?
Casemiro.
Casemiro.
I will also
Casemiro.
was
He
past
was
it,
better
so-
than
Casemiro,
the Portugal three.
He was
Yeah,
better
better
than
than
the
the
Portugal
Portugal
trio.
because if you are
Bruno.
if you are looking at if you are
Yeah.
looking at if you are looking at if you are looking
Easy.
at Casemiro, you are looking at Joao Neves, Bruno
Striker,
Fernandes, and
let's put
then
Jordan
what's his
Ayew.
name? And then Joao Neves. I don't think you are going to be expecting much from Casemiro as you expect from the other three.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's move on to the attack. The attack
front
plays
three.
itself. Jordan Ayew.
Yes, number one. Yes,
Jordan
he leads
Ayew.
the
Jordan
attack.
Ayew.
So let's
Yeah,
look
Jordan
at
Ayew.
the supporting strikers.
Nicholas Jackson.
Hey, thank you. Hey, a player plan was
relax.
that boy is he
But
okay?
no, I don't agree with Nicholas Jackson.
Why?
Why don't you agree
Not
with
because
Nicolas
I think he
Jackson?
was good. Nicholas Jackson was Nicholas Jackson. Like
So that's it.
yeah, no, I think we
Game
can
with
find
three. Jordan
I think
Ayew, Nicholas
I
Jackson, and
think we
Leroy.
can find a striker who we expected better from. That didn't do it. Nicholas Jackson was just Nicholas Jackson. I don't
The
think.
strikers we expected things from the all squad.
Well,
Honestly, I have a very debatable name for
Ishak.
disappointing 11. No, it wasn't Shaq. And you guys, I'll tell you why. Ousmane Dembele disappointed me personally. He came into the
4 goals,
tournament,
3 assists. No,
so context
Relax.
really matters. Context is very important. I'll
let
tell
him
you the,
explain his position.
I'll tell you the context.
okay.
Ousmane Dembele for a reason. Number one, he went into a tournament as Ballon d'Or. Who came up with winning French Player of the Year. Yeah, UEFA Champions League as well as the French. He goes into a tournament, and whenever France needed him the most, he was nowhere to be found.
Mhm.
He scored a hat-trick in a dead rubber match. A game where before the game, the Norwegians themselves came out to say they don't care about the results of the game. It's on tape. Erling Haaland said, we don't care about the results of the game. They were all dropped and rested for the game. They didn't care about the results of the game. They knew they had qualified. Ousmane Dembele went on to start pad and got 3 goals. He scored again against England in a game no one cared about. Cricket scoreline. You can check. Ronaldo scored 3 goals. He scored the first goal in the when let me finish. So if you know, I said there's a difference between dead rubber match and low quality teams. There's a difference. No. There's a difference.
Oh
That's
no,
a
we are not laughing at you. We are not saying you are lying. Though. It's just funny.
The Uzbekistan game is the only game Portugal won in the group stage, and he opened the scoring in a must-win game. He opened the scoring. When they went to play Croatia again in a must-win game, he stood tall and he scored. Now let's talk about Ousmane Dembele. 3 goals in a dead rubber match against Norway. He scored also against England in a game no one cared about. Ended in the cricket
What
scoreline.
about his assists?
Can I finish? And then he scored 1 in a game they had already won against Morocco. I think that was very important to calmness because they were leading 1-0 already and he got the winner. So that I'll give to him. But I struggle to see games where he actually stamped his authority on the game as Ballon d'Or holder, as Champions League winner, as in fact back-to-back Champions League winner, as French League winner, and also as French Player of the or French League One Player of the Year. for me, I was very disappointed. I expected a lot more from him. And I think on days where Mbappe struggled to, save them, he was nowhere to be found. So, for instance, against France, when Mbappe couldn't conjure his magic, I think Ousmane Dembele should have stepped up, and he wasn't there.
And I think that is the problem you have. The problem is it was your expectation.
Ousmane
Dembele, that is default Ousmane Dembele. The performance is not Ousmane Dembele.
Ballon d'Or.
That's
Kwaku, you know why I would defend him. Number one,
tell me.
Let's not forget that Dembele struggled with lots of injuries last season. Number two, he wasn't played in his favorite position. Dembele, as we know, has become accustomed to playing the central attacking forward, not on the wide areas. Look at PSG. He plays, and his role was virtually given to Kylian Mbappe. Now he had to be a provider, and he did not play so many minutes. He was virtually taking off 60 minutes, until I think the last 2 or 3 games when he managed to, play the entire duration of the game. And for him to score 4 goals and I think 2 or 3 assists, the major tournament, the World Cup, it doesn't come easy for any other player.
I think he had 6 or 5 goals. So let me call the number of games he played. Yeah, he got 5 or 6 goals.
Yes.
5. He scored 3 against Norway, 1 against England, 1 against Morocco as well.
Yes. So 2 and 5 goals, and then 5 goals and 3 assists. That is 8 goals contribution in 8 games.
No, but the context matter. The context. 2 were dead rubber games. 4 of those goals were dead rubber games.
I'm sure you agree with me.
No, that even with a dead rubber, you need to prove your word.
Yeah. In a dead rubber match,
I'm sure you agree.
The goals were not tappies too.
So well.
If Olise.
No, come on, that's compared to 4 years ago. We are comparing him to Ballon d'Or Dembele. We are comparing the Dembele we saw at the World Cup to the Ballon d'Or Dembele. He came into it as the reigning Ballon d'Or.
You can't just take his best season.
Oh my gosh!
You can't just take his best season and then say,
is it that?
Lamine Yamal was disappointing.
Yes.
For me, he was disappointing as well.
He was. And I mean, for him, the disappointment is because he was injured.
He was a big injury.
Yeah, he was injured.
Dembele didn't come with a big injury. He was fit.
Akomia wanted to say something. Let him finish. Akomia, you're on about saying something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Olise couldn't make the boy even stick. Exactly, and you couldn't score.
The goals were not just any goals. They were brilliant finishes against a very good goalkeeper who showed his class at the World Cup, Nyland. Let's not forget that goalkeeper was very good at the World Cup.
Was Nyland imposed? I don't think Nyland was imposed against France. So I'll check. I know they used their team B. They rested everybody.
But I think the goalkeeper was imposed.
I'll check for you. Don't worry.
Either way. All right. Anyway, we are not picking Dembele as the worst forward. We already got who? Who did we? Jordan Ayew and who?
We got Jordan.
Nicholas Jackson and who?
Yes.
I think Nicholas Jackson. He was Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson was just Nicholas Jackson. I don't think Nicholas Jackson should even be in the same conversation.
I was extremely happy with him. That guy, he was a functional player. he was playing on the right wing.
He was doing a job, and he did the job.
So now it tells you that Dembele was also doing a job.
Like Dembele,
Yeah, but he got injured. But
He
he wasn't pulling up any trees even when he was playing before he got injured.
But I thought we already
He
had
was
our three
terrible.
forwards.
Yeah, Rafinha was terrible.
I thought we had our three forwards.
We have our three forward too.
Who did we take?
Yeah.
Jordan.
Come on.
Yeah. I second the Rafinha pick.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think so. I think Jordan gets in there.
Look, Brazil's team. We knew Brazil's team wasn't like the Brazil we've known, but we expected Vinicius and Rafinha to be the lightning rods for the team, and Rafinha never came.
Rafinha, he will never come. He will never come.
Well, he was injured. Kelvin, it's a wrap, isn't it?
Yeah.
But my final word would be that, always play to your strengths and also respect opponents. In as much as we talk about Spain's possession, Spain play to their strengths. The strength of the Spanish team is their technique. They know how to really, really manipulate the ball. That's what they have. That's their football culture. Every person and their mother can manipulate the ball very, very well, in Spain. And so they play to their strengths. They defended, also according to their strengths. There are teams that can really, really sit back and really take a dogged approach and defend deep. Sit for 2 hours, you can never even get a shot on target or not score a goal against them. DS is different. They have ways to defend, and they did that to perfection. So it's important that you play to your strengths, both in attack and in defense. It's very critical.
Right.
So that'll be my final word.
Yeah.
And then Bailey was a flop. No one can tell me anything different.
All right, Mangana.
Oh, I have no final words. It was an exceptional tournament. We enjoyed it, and we hope that the next one is as good as this one was.
Akomia. And my final take is De La Fuente has showed us that you need to trust your best materials, players you can trust to do a job for you. And Spain have also told us that you don't need an A-class manager to handle your national team before they get better. I'm not sure anyone would have thought De La Fuente handling the Spanish national team would have gotten this far. He's lost just 2 games since he took over, the Spanish national team, and he's won all the trophies that he needs to win, bar the Confederations Cup. And hopefully, when it's played the next time, he'll get into it to probably win it. And credit to them. Maybe the other nations are looking at it. You don't need an extraordinary manager to handle your team. And Stanley Solbakken handled the Norwegian team brilliantly. He didn't need. Lano Scaloni even has showed us that you do not need an exceptional manager to handle, your greatest crop of players. And I think that they've done that. We'll be looking forward to have. Probably, yes. Maybe they should have gotten Pep Guardiola instead of allowing Italy to hover around him. But, well, that is also another conversation for another day. Guys, what should be our next conversation? Should it be Asante Kotoko Akomia, or it should be about Manchester United ahead of the new season?
Talk about.
I think we'll be back to preview the La Liga.
All right. Sure, guys. Thank you so much this evening. Thank you so much, Michael Akomia. You can call him the sports messiah. Mangana, yes, and Anasari, Tukoku Safumensa Didi, and to myself, Kelvin Osonsa. It's a wrap. The 2026 World Cup, the trophy, has already been lifted. The tears have dried, and the group chats, finally would go quiet almost, and football would never stop at this moment. And we are also not going to stop. We are going to continue the conversation just as you and your friends have to continue the conversation. This is an episode that will get you nodded, shouting, and fighting with your TV. Rate us, share us, tag us, let the world know where the real conversation is happening, because we are the 50-50 Football Podcast everywhere across the various socials. Drop your team of the tournament picks. Tell us your failures and tell us who robbed who, and let's argue about it in the comments section. make sure you share this with a friend. Same time, same energy. Next time, we are going to get back to you. All you need to do is to be loud about the 50-50 football podcast. And as always, it's never just 50-50 with us. It's same with you too.